Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 7 with Kevin. I'm Kevin Maynard. I'm the Executive Director of Quad City Arts, where our mission is to enrich the lives in the Quad City region through the arts. To do this, we work with hundreds of artists throughout the year, and our community is impacted by these artists through their performances, their public art installations, gallery exhibitions, and more. And our team has the added benefit of getting to work closer with these artists, which gives us the opportunity to learn more about them and their art. And we want to share that with you. And that is what 7 with Kevin is all about. Now, if you're tuning in live and have a question, go ahead and put that in the comment section. Tuning in live but don't have a question, still comment. Tell our Metro Arts apprentices and lead artists how amazing they are tonight. When 7 with Kevin went on break, I told you it'd be hard to keep me away, and I'm back. So it's nice to be able to have a reason to break the silence. So tonight we will be highlighting our Metro Arts Youth Apprenticeship Program. Now, Metro Arts is a paid summer youth employment program for students ages 15 to 21. All apprentices must fill out an application and be interviewed for the program. Those selected are paired with a lead artist and spend 5 weeks learning a new skill or improving upon one. The program culminates with a final project that is often public-facing. Again, all of these positions are paid. So how do we do it? We work with a variety of sponsors. So I want to take a moment to say a big thank you to TBK Bank, Modern Woodmen of America, Moline Center, Renew Moline, Visit Quad Cities, Davenport Noon Optimist, and the City of Rock Island, the Iowa Arts Council, and the Illinois Arts Council Agency. Tonight, we will meet lead artists and an apprentice from each of our summer programs: graphic design, mural painting, poetry, and film. All right, let's get started with graphic design. The graphic design program gave students a glimpse of what a career in graphic design could be. It taught them aspects of the Adobe Creative Cloud and more. The students were tasked with creating art that will be printed onto vinyl and put onto vacant storefronts in downtown Rock Island. The designs are ideas that the students would like to see in our downtowns. So please welcome lead artist Annie Oldenburg and senior apprentice Casey Rasmussen.
Hi there.
Hello, Casey and Annie. Welcome to 7 with Kevin. Annie, like many of our lead artists this year, you are new to Metro Arts. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am an art and design instructor at Blackhawk College. I've been there for 3 years now. So we were actually able to use the classroom at Blackhawk for this program. So know it like the back of my hand. And that was really nice. And then outside of, my day job, I am a local artist. I mostly work in photography, but not in the traditional sense. I do a lot of alternative practices, a lot of collaborating with nature. I make my own photo emulsions out of plants and plant-based materials. So a lot of fun alternative photography practices.
Wow, very cool. And yeah, you touched on something that I definitely want to talk about is we had an opportunity to create a great collaboration with Blackhawk College, let us use their campus, their facilities, and helped us get access to the Creative Cloud, which was a huge hurdle for the program and obviously a great benefit to the apprentices. So a big thank you to Blackhawk for that. Casey, can you share a little bit about yourself and what year in school you are?
Yeah, currently in the fall here, I'll be a senior at University of Dubuque for digital art and design as my major.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Casey, this was your first year as a senior apprentice, and it was your first year in graphic design program. So how was that experience?
Yeah, in the past, I've done mainly sculpture and then mural a few times, and graphic design is career-based is what I want to do. So it's good experience for my resume, and I've learned a lot so far in school, but I actually learned more this summer also.
Excellent. Well, that's obviously something we'd love to hear and one of the key components of the program. So for those that may not know, the graphic design program for this year was basically it was built by the ground up, and it was that was built primarily by Annie. We came to her, we had a concept, had a basis of that. So Annie, what was it like to sort of be the person to build this program and make that happen?
It was so much fun. I've done programs like this in the past with just with other all ages essentially. This was different, just knowing that there wasn't really like a preconceived notion going into it, and it was like, well, we just want to run with this idea. What can you do with it? So that was a lot of fun, and I feel like a lot of it was then collaborating with these apprentices. We have young adults ages 15 to 21, and saying that, hey, this is our project, but what matters to you, and how do you want your voice to be heard with this? I don't know that I could have done it without that collaboration with these apprentices.
Very, very cool. And so what being, a new program and a new lead artist for this, what was the most challenging part of doing that for this project?
Well, you're working with software. We specifically were working with Adobe Illustrator, and I do teach a lot of the software classes at Black Hawk College, but those run for 16 weeks. So you have 16 weeks to learn the program, and by the end of it, you're feeling pretty masterful. And we had people of all skill levels that were in this program. So I think the biggest challenge was just saying, okay, we have 5 weeks to do this project, and we want to make sure we have 5 weeks to do this project. So what can I teach you in essentially 2 days so that we can get started? And then, of course, it's going around, and Casey's been great. She's been very helpful, helping out the other apprentices. And, every day it's kind of going around and collaborating and critiquing. Everyone learns so quickly. So I say that's like a challenge, but honestly, it was so much fun and really rewarding. And everyone did an amazing job. They learned very quickly, and they picked it up and they rolled with it and made amazing art.
Excellent. Well, that actually segues perfectly. So, Casey, well, first, actually, let's pull up your design and show some of the aspects what we're working on. So, Casey, I think we're going to pull up yours first. And so, can you tell us a little bit about your design?
Yeah, so for all of ours, we were reimagining indoor spaces, like what the spaces could be. And I chose to go with a bookstore that kind of has a performance area in the back, really maybe a little bit more community-based, a nice place to relax, just enjoy a bunch of different kind of activities in there. So excellent. I wanted to go with like neutraler colors, positive space.
Excellent. Is there so I often tell people who work in graphic design that this is not a skill that I have. So a lot of things I don't quite understand. So for this, is there an aspect or was there an area of your design that was more challenging to make happen? And if so, what part was that and why?
With mine, I think it started with like getting perspective. Mine's more of like a flat perspective where in order to create depth, you space things out, and then it goes by size and like sizing things correctly. And then when it came down to the people, like correctly making like their hands look correct and proportional and everything. Yeah.
Excellent. So Casey, outside of, obviously learning the programs and doing that, what was the most challenging part of being an apprentice, or maybe being a senior apprentice this year?
I think this year it was a little difficult to get to know everyone, specifically because we're all individual projects. And so it took a little while for us to like get to know each other, kind of share more of our critique ideas. I think we're a little nervous at the start for that too, specifically.
Excellent. And what was your favorite part of the program this year?
I like the ability to create individual designs, and we can put a little bit of our own like specific style on everything, and you get to see what everybody else style-wise can do, and you can learn from everyone else.
Excellent. Annie, did you have a favorite part of the program this year?
I think my favorite part was when we did tile printing. So our printers in the lab can only print up to like tabloid size paper. And these are giant window pieces. So, they, let's see, I think the biggest one was like 55 inches by 76 inches, if I recall that correctly. So seeing it on a screen and printing out at tabloid size, really doesn't do it justice. So we did these tile prints, as you can see in this image here. So getting to see them blown up large and and honestly, to see everyone's faces sort of, light up when they got to, really envision what this was going to look like in those spaces was just a phenomenal experience. Yeah, that's probably my favorite. Honestly, I loved every second of it, but that's probably my favorite.
Excellent. And you both had a really cool opportunity with the entire group to tour local business, Edwards Creative, who, does this and 100 other things and so much more. Annie or Casey, can you tell us a little bit about that experience and what kind of your takeaway was from that?
Casey, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so going into it, didn't know anything about the business, and as soon as we walked in, just their displays and learning about everything they created was really cool. Like, I didn't know like a business like that existed, but when you think about it, all those displays, that has to come from somewhere, and kind of learning their process, it was really interesting.
Yeah, I think a big takeaway for a lot of the apprentices was realizing how much more can go into the design business than just sitting in front of a computer and illustrating something. They talked about, how they work with fabricators and, who's doing more of like the engineering of projects. And so I think that was a really good experience for people who want to go into this career field to realize, well, it's good to kind of branch out that knowledge and, don't put all your eggs in one basket, essentially, learn how to photograph and learn how to car wrap and learn how to do, all of these different things, because it'll help you be more marketable and be more successful in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, Alex and I had an opportunity to meet with Edwards Creative about a project, and they gave us a tour as well. And I was floored as well. I had no idea that that was taking place in our community, that, they were creating these fixtures and they were doing this like the really impressive models and museum quality exhibits, and oftentimes for museums. So just really cool to have that opportunity, and a big, really super appreciative of them lining that up so you guys could do that. So very cool. Well, before we move on to the next thing, I want to show a few of the other designs to be able to just kind of show some of the concepts that are going to be popping up on some vacant storefronts here in downtown Rock Island. And if either of you have any input on those or any other information, I'll let you share that. But there's some very cool ones. This one is also just the background stuff in it is really quite impressive.
Yeah, that was the process. Emily did an amazing job with that. She actually had a completely different background on there for the first, I think, 3 weeks of doing this project, and then came in one day and just like completely 360'd it. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you have to do that, where you're sitting on it and you're thinking about it and it doesn't work, but you're not sure why. And then after reworking it, it ends up coming together.
Excellent.
So a lot of these spaces were taken in both like a literal and abstract way. And so like looking at Emily's art space, for example, thinking about having a place for art, like local artists to go, but then what does that atmosphere feel like, rather than what is going to be the actual literal representation of that.
Yeah, excellent. So I think you had a total of 9 apprentices in your group, correct?
8, actually.
8. Mm-hmm. That's right. I came up with some great things: a cat cafe, anime lounge, museum, bookstore, library space, all sorts of cool stuff. Well, Annie and Casey, I really appreciate you taking the time to come and chat with me tonight. So I'm going to throw you a curveball here. So at the end of 7 with Kevin, with all of my guests, I like to run through our 7 questions. But because we have so many people joining us tonight, I can't do all the questions. So I have found some new questions that we may be incorporating in the future. So I'm going to test them out tonight on all of you. So this will take some creative thinking, and I will let you guys decide who goes first on this. So my question for both of you is: someone gives you an elephant. You can't sell the elephant. You can't give the elephant away. What do you do with the elephant?
Keep it as a pet, absolutely. I joke with my partner Jeff all the time that I want to have like a farm here. We want pigs, llamas. I shouldn't say we, it's me. So yeah, I'll build a shelter right in my backyard. Let's keep that elephant there.
Perfect. Casey, what about you?
I completely agree. It'd be really cool to have a pet elephant. I don't know, where I'd store it, how much room they really take up, but
I mean, I think
somewhere for it to live.
Exactly. I mean, I think it sounds like a great transportation model. I think there will be nobody to match that here in the Quad Cities. So excellent. Well, Annie, Casey, thank you both so much for all of your hard work in the Metro Arts program, creating this graphic design program from the ground up and being willing to help kind of, beautify some vacant spaces in downtown Rock Island and really bring attention to some of the great spaces that are there. So I am excited that in the next few weeks, we'll see those go up. And it'll be great to see that. So again, Annie, Casey, thank you for joining me on 7 with Kevin.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting us be a part of the program. It was a blast.
Thanks. All right. Well, again, thank you, Annie and Casey. We are going to move to our mural painting program. So this was our second mural in Moline. The students worked with Moline Center, Renew Moline, and Visit Quad Cities to create a mural underneath the Arsenal Bridge in Moline. It is along the bike path between the Channel Cat space and Kone Center. They wanted an artistic representation of the history of Arsenal Island. So I will bring them in. So from the mural painting program, we are joined by lead artist Sarah Robb and senior apprentice Liam Haskell. So Sarah and Liam, welcome to 7 with Kevin.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I had to move.
Excellent. Well, Sarah, obviously, so Sarah, you have been with the Metro Arts program for a couple of years now, and so I would like to, I'd like to give everybody who maybe hasn't had an opportunity to meet you a little bit about you and how long have you been with the Metro Arts program?
I've been with the Metro Arts program. This is year number 15, which saying it out loud sounds insane, but it's been a long, fun ride. And then outside of Metro, I'm a full-time artist. That's what I do all the time, but mainly community projects, doing murals, I guess is what I do. But I dabble in other stuff with a bit of graphic design and portraits and commissioned work as well on a smaller scale. So.
Excellent. And Liam, can you share what year in school you are in and what you're studying?
Yeah, so this upcoming fall, I will be a sophomore in college, and I am looking to go into audiology.
Ooh, excellent. And Liam, so this was if I remember correctly, it's your first year as a senior apprentice. And so I'm curious, how was that experience? And was it different from what you expected?
I think we had a really good experience this time all around. We had a really good group of apprentices this year, so it definitely made my job pretty easy to watch over all of them. And it's about what I expected. I mean, just seeing how past seniors operated, it's very similar to that.
Excellent. So Sarah, I'm curious, as lead artist on this project, what was the most challenging part of being the lead artist for this one? Looks like I may have lost Sarah. So Liam,
Well, that's a hard question, Kevin, because it was a really ideal 5 weeks. Am I still here?
Nope, you're still here. So not an ideal 5 weeks.
Okay. Well, no. Well, I say that it's hard to answer that question because I would say it was ideal. Like the location, being in the shade all morning, no sun, just a great crew, which that's always a thing. But they were just a well-oiled machine. I'd say, and Liam might agree with this, but I think the biggest challenge was just coming up with the design. To be honest with you, you're given such a specific concept, and it's like, well, how can they make that youthful and their art and then also incorporate the client's needs. And so I would say that was probably the biggest challenge we had.
Excellent. Liam, would you agree with that being the biggest challenge as the design aspect?
Oh, definitely. A lot of research had to go into this one to try and find the right images to put into this mural. So it was definitely an interesting one.
Excellent. So that's actually, I'd love to know what that design process was like. I know that from being at the presentation, the group was able to present 3 concepts. So what was that like, trying to develop those concepts and learn about Arsenal Island?
Right. So the main thing that our clients requested was at least some sort of nod to the history of Arsenal Island, which has a lot to it. And so when we were looking into it, we learned a lot about how the regional natives, the Sac people, would often migrate there for a summer. And it was just a very important piece of land for them. So of course we wanted to find good ways to implement them into this. And then also just moving along kind of as a sort of timeline throughout the piece of Arsenal Island itself, from its first buildings being built to more modern aspects of it. And the design that was actually picked went for a more kind of retro style, with a lot of vibrant, crazy colors, but still has a lot of these older aspects to it, like some of the old buildings like the clock tower, Fort Armstrong. And we put in Chief Blackhawk as well over on the left side. There's just a lot of moving elements in this piece, and overall I think it's a very fun and vibrant piece that I had a pleasure of being a part of.
Definitely. And I think we have an image of the completed piece, of the front side, and so we can put that up here and kind of show some of the aspects that you were just talking about. Excellent. So yeah, and the other aspect that we also that the group also came up with is on the right side there being the compass that outlines the fact that we are the part of the river that runs east to west, which is a very unique thing for our region as well. So the other aspect of this is that because this group was such a well-oiled machine and was able to do so much, we were able to tack on a couple other projects. One of those being inside the Visit Quad Cities office. And I think it is a really impressive piece. And I know, Liam, this was part of your group's design. And I would love for you to share the story of why this image was in that design.
Yeah, so with our design, pretty much about a third of the entire mural, which was the left side of it, had this giant sort of spirit-looking swan on it. And our basis for this was from, I believe, in a biography of Blackhawk, or some account from a SAC person, and they spoke about how the Arsenal Island was the home of some sort of benevolent or kind spirit who would often manifest in the form of a great swan. But then over time, as more people began to occupy the island, all the noise and stuff drove this swan away. And we just thought that this image of this giant swan just stretching out its wings and kind of throwing its feathers throughout the piece was just a really interesting aspect of it. And when we pitched our design, although it wasn't picked, this swan was an image that was very much beloved. So then it was requested that we put it up in that office. So it was really cool seeing something that we put together being able to be implemented somewhere else than the main mural itself.
Yeah, definitely. And if, for those who would like to see it in person, it is right inside the door at Visit Quad Cities in their Moline office. But the crazy thing is, that's not all for this group, because they said, hey, we did a mural, we did a wall inside Visit Quad Cities. Well, we still have a week and a half, so why don't we do the backside of this bridge as well? So, Sarah, Liam, if we could talk a little bit about that process.
Yeah, I noticed probably about week 3. I'm like, man, they're flying, and it was just going so fast. And so I had originally had this idea when I first looked at that wall back there. When I was on site for the first time, and I thought, why not? Wouldn't it be really cool if we have the time to do a positive message of some? I don't know if it was going to be 1 word or 2 words or what it was going to be, but I remember having that conversation with you, Kevin, and I just had this idea. And then when I saw the opportunity, they're working really fast. I think we can actually achieve this. So we went back to the drawing board real quick and got the approval for it. And and they finished it literally today. But it was quite impressive. So they threw this together with the idea of exploration, imagination, imagine, as well as grow, which were some of the key words that, some of the people that were involved in the decision making that they thought were important to address for the community, for this area. And I thought they did a really excellent job of getting this done very quickly. I'm very impressed, very impressed.
I am too. Just seeing from the time it went from priming to being done is absolutely impressive. So a really, really well-oiled machine there. So Sarah and Liam, incredibly well done. I'm curious, and this is up to both of you. Of the murals of the pieces, which aspect of the mural was the hardest to complete or to paint in to get right?
Well, I would say we kind of did a lot of playful things with the Black Hawk area, especially with the feathers. And then that kind of led to the horse. And so these things took a bit longer to develop, I would say. Everything else was pretty solid design, what they had come up with during their design week. But I mean, Liam might have his own opinion, but I thought those particular areas were really developed over a couple weeks and took a little bit longer than the other areas. So.
No, I definitely agree with that. A lot of the other aspects of it were pretty much set in stone once they were thought up, but Black Hawk and the main front horse there were 2 aspects that were workshopped quite a bit throughout the entire process. But I'm very happy with how they turned out, so it was all worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. That Black Hawk, also just to mention, the Black Hawk came from the 3rd design. So we incorporated that into the design that was chosen. We added Black Hawk into it. So we literally did that on the wall and then sort of created that area as we were moving along. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but they handled it really well. And it kind of fit really nicely into the design. So no one would ever know that we, kind of put that in there from a completely different design. So all 3 groups won. All 3 groups got an opportunity to have like a bright, shiny moment. And that was super exciting for all of us. We were just ecstatic. that rarely happens. So we loved it.
Yeah, it was really cool being in that being in the presentation and being able to listen to the feedback and just know that it was a hard decision to make, but in the end, being able to incorporate some aspect from all 3 was very, very cool. Well, Sarah and Liam, I cannot thank you enough for the hard work that you put in on this project. I think that this was going to quickly be one of a very popular and very photographed mural, given its location on the bike path, and honestly, just the feedback we've already heard. So congratulations and thank you so much for that. But before you go, I do have a fun question for you both. So I'll let you decide who gets to answer it first. So my question for both of you is, if you were a vegetable, what kind of vegetable would you be and why?
Go ahead, Liam.
This is very out of nowhere and very topical. One of my friends yesterday told me that I look a lot like a scallion because I am just tall and lanky. So I guess that's what I'm going with because that just happened yesterday.
Oh man, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Although I look at you with your lovely curly hair and I think asparagus. I mean, He's got the best hair ever. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. How would I answer that? I do love asparagus. I eat it a lot. So maybe asparagus. Close second. I don't know. Should we bring up avocado again? Our group was talking about avocados the other day. And yeah, and I do eat a lot of those. So probably let's go with avocado.
Avocado. I mean, and very, a very popular, Perfect. Love it. Again, thank you both. Seriously, for all your hard work. I'm just absolutely amazed by what your group was able to accomplish in such a short amount of time. So thank you both for joining me tonight on 7 with Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin, for all your hard work too. Oh. You're back there in the background helping us out all the time. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it. So excellent. Thank you both. All right. Again, thank you, Sarah and Liam. We're moving on to poetry. Now, poetry wasn't just about learning to write poetry. It would also help students work on their writing skills, various mechanisms for poetry, and how to perform poetry in front of a crowd. So from the poetry program, we are joined by lead artist Aubrey Barnes and Elena Vallejo.
How are you feeling, Kevin?
Doing well. How about yourself, Aubrey?
I'm doing good, man. Doing really good. Thanks you for having us on. Really appreciate that.
My gosh, my pleasure. So welcome both of you to 7 with Kevin. Aubrey, I'm going to start with the same question I've asked the lead artist, is to tell a little bit about yourself. We've had you on 7 with Kevin before. You've done a couple things with Quad City Arts in the past year. But this is your first year being part of the Metro Arts program. So if we could just tell people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, my name is Aubrey Barnes. I work as both a creative and educator. So on the educator end, I work with like behavioral intervention students, which is kind of like in a therapeutic manner, as well as like students in the manner of like teaching poetry, performance poetry specifically, and just kind of using that as like a tool of just like allowing students to like learn to express themselves properly and kind of overcome those kind of like fear-isms that come with like public kind of presentation, as well as just kind of like learning writing from a different aspect, just being somebody who, and on the artist side, like I do stuff within the aesthetics of rap, spoken word, battle rap, and stuff as that sort. So I come from a background of just learning and being influenced by aesthetics from the rap perspective, and I try to bring those things that I learned from like a technical perspective and bring that into how I teach poetry and how I teach the performance and certain things of like how to have a good pace, how to project, how to inflect, and all those things. So those are a couple things I do as a creative and an educator.
Excellent. I do love that you are incorporating other aspects of poetry, because I think as many people might not think about all the time, is that, I mean, poetry is in more than just a written book. I mean, like you said, I mean, it is very much in pop culture all the time. I mean, look at most music. You can make the argument is poetry. So that's fantastic. Elena, can you share what year in school you are, and how did you find out about the Metro Arts program?
Yeah, I am going to be a sophomore at St. Ambrose University this coming year, and I actually found out about the program on Facebook. So whoever does your digital marketing, double thumbs up to them, because without them, I wouldn't be here.
I will tell you that you just made Alex very, very happy. So well done, Alex. Alex, for people that don't know, is actually who's controlling the screen right now, making all the good things happen for us. So we are big fans of her. So excellent. Well, that's good. That makes me very happy to hear. I'm curious to know, going into the poetry program, was it what you thought it would be, or and if not, how was it different?
Yeah, it was greater than I expected it. Not that I expected it to be anything less than great, but it was just, the group of people we had was so amazing. We were all such talented writers in our own different ways, and it was just so great getting to work with them and create.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I will say I had the pleasure of seeing the groups perform twice, and I mean, just absolutely incredible, especially knowing that poem was created, within the past week or the past few weeks is just even more mind blowing to me. So incredibly well done to both of you on that. So Aubrey, I'm curious, what was the most challenging part of the poetry program for you as the lead artist?
Yeah, I would definitely say the first thing that I kind of think of is just kind of the way that I kind of like set up the day by day classes. I think just being someone who's an educator, I gratefully have like a lot of that kind of leak into what I do. Where like day by day, like I'm waking up super early to kind of figure out like how to best tailor this lesson on metaphor to kind of like fit this group. Like if this didn't work the day before, what can I do to switch this up? And I think just having that work of just kind of like constantly kind of correcting myself, constantly like going back and changing things so that it fits the group in the best way possible so they can learn the material in the best way possible. It was both one of those things that was challenging, but it was also fulfilling because I think the one thing that I always noticed that the energy that I put towards stuff like that, they match that energy all the more greater when those lessons were presented. So it was definitely worth it in that. Definitely, am not going to miss those 6 a.m. wake up times and just setting up lessons. But it was totally worth it. I'd definitely do it again.
Excellent. I love that. Elena, for you as an apprentice, what was the most challenging part for you?
Definitely probably experimenting with the different writing styles and forms. I learned so much doing them, so I'm so glad. But like with like rhyming, I am not good at rhyming. And I knew that going into it. And so when Aubrey was like, we're having rhyming week, I was like, oh no. I was like, I do not want to do this. But it ended up, I learned a lot and got better at those things that I was kind of worried about doing.
Excellent. So I think we have a few pictures of your guys' performance at Theo's, and so Elena, I'm curious to know. Two questions. I guess my first question is: was this your first time performing in front of somebody in any aspect, or had you done performance before?
This was my first with poetry. I've been doing theater since I was in 5th grade, so luckily I'm pretty used to being in front of people, but it's a lot different when it's your own words versus someone else's or you're playing a character. Like in poetry, most of the time you are yourself and it is everything raw and truthful about yourself. So
yeah, it can be a very you're putting yourself out there. I mean, it's a very vulnerable moment. Especially, I will say, for some of the group had some very personal poems, and so it was. It was really incredible to be in that audience to experience just how open and honest all of you were. So thank you for that. So Elena, I don't want to put you on the spot, but would you be willing to share a piece or two of yours? And you're totally welcome to deflect and make Aubrey share one as well. So.
I can share one, and then Aubrey can also share one because I love Aubrey's work. So we'll both, do one.
Excellent.
So I'll read a poem called "This Is Not a Love Poem," which was written in this program. So this is not a love poem. Roses are red. Roses are red, violets are blue. Roses are red, violets are blue, and this is not a love poem. Roses are red and violets are blue, and this is not a love poem because I am not in love. I'm not in love, and I don't have anyone to write love poems to. I'm not in love, and I don't have anyone or anything to write love poems to. Well, that's a lie. There are a lot of things I could write love poems to. I could write love poems to the earth. I could write love poems to the earth or to the sun. I could write love poems to the earth or to the sun or to donuts. I could write love poems to the earth or to the sun or to donuts or to each new day. I could write love poems to the earth or to the sun or to donuts or to each new day or to future lovers or to myself. Myself. I could write love poems to myself. I could write love poems to myself, but that's a hard thing to do. I could write love poems to myself, but that's a hard thing to do. And like I said, this is not a love poem. Thank you.
Wow.
I dig it.
Wow is all I can say. I will also throw in that that was, I mean, it was incredible, but it was also an incredible improvement from the last time that I had seen you do that. I think it's very clear that since then, you guys must have worked on some performance aspects of that. That was really well done, and yeah, amazing. So
Thank you.
yeah, Aubrey, I'm gonna ask you to share one as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'll do state and church. The law be good till it ain't good no mo'. The law be God-given and state-sanctioned, concrete as commandments handed to Moses, yet wet for fingers of wicked kings to alter to their liking. Shape-shifting depending which hand holds pen, either inscribing pathways toward protection for poor, or damning death march for death row murderers whose hands be bound with no blood. Though man may reflect on past transgressions, repent with purest heart intentions, positively transforming personhood and passion, the law loses plenty of profit if they pity prisoners. So by design, the law be unforgivable, extending grace to those who bear white face. Even if crimes committed were dark as skin of those commonly incarcerated and innocent, both judge and jury stings fingertips to homicide, haul human to hog pen and call to act of Jesus. Because the law of land is loose. It used to tighten noose, use power to abuse, teach children within school that law is always good, preach its inerrancy to the young and ignorant, mixing truth and lies in order to persuade youth and eyes that you and I get euthanized, accused for crime, follow suit and tie, and crucified, dehumanized. Are you surprised? The law must justify how they make a killing before they make a killing. The law be worshipped by beige bodies who sing praise over rights to pack shotties, ride through Bible Belt, blast bullets and catch bodies. The law be church for countrymen who kill for law, beat, bruise, break windows for law, mob down middle of streets with torches for law, break down door with violent forces for law, bolt low tray and spray and felt betrayed by law because the law be good till it ain't good no more. And that's state and church.
Excellent. Well done, Aubrey. That is, yeah. Aubrey, I'm curious, is that a piece that is currently in something or will be available for consumption outside of your live performances?
Yeah, actually, that piece that I just performed, it actually was nominated by Button Poetry, which is a pretty big like international like poetry organization. It was nominated as a runner-up for one of their contests this past year, which is really cool, you know. And
wow.
I attribute that to the people that I work with for sure. So there's a little visual with that piece on YouTube floating around on Button Poetry's page, but it's going to be in a book that I'm working on as of currently right now.
Excellent. Yeah, that's fantastic. It is an incredible piece and very thought provoking for sure.
Oh yeah, appreciate it.
Excellent. Well, so the problem I have with the Metro Art Showcase is that I want to talk to everybody for like hours. So I hate to. I feel like I'm cutting it short, but I hate to do that. But I do also have a question for both of you. And this was when I heard this question. This was the question that kind of sparked dropping in some other questions tonight. So this one is. What is on your coma reading list? Meaning, if you found yourself in a coma, what would you want somebody to be reading to you?
I would definitely, and this is a book that I brought up actually last time I did an interview with you, but it was The Alchemist, I believe. That's a book that I definitely would like somebody to read to me if I ever was in that coma state for sure, because I feel like it's one of those books that just it's very comforting for sure. It definitely has that storytelling plus like underlying kind of message behind it. So I definitely would like to hear that one for sure.
Excellent.
That's a really hard question. I guess I'm thinking Les Mis. I don't know. I'm a big theater nerd, and I have never been able to get through that book because it is so long. So maybe if someone read it to me, then I could say I read it.
Perfect. That's good. I honestly, for most of the questions that I ask, I always have a response, and this is one that I'm like, I really don't know. They're so vast, and then Yeah. So I don't even have an answer for that. So thank you both for very good answers. So well done. So Aubrey, Elena, I am so thrilled that you were able to talk with me tonight. I also I really appreciate all the hard work that you did in this program. And Aubrey, if you want to share some details about tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as kind of our like wrapping up of this summer program, I'm having an open mic kind of dedicated to the students, the interns who are part of this program, and that's going to take place at the Spot, which is a music venue in Rock Island, 1611 Second Avenue, Rock Island, and it's going to start at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And it's going to be a great event. Like it's the poems that the students worked on this past 4 or 5 week program are going to be the poems that they're sharing, as well as kind of them sharing the stage with somebody who does poetry as well, which is going to be Lene Reed, who's a spoken word artist out of Washington. So it's going to be a good night. So definitely drop by if you can, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Excellent. Is there a cover charge or a ticket price?
Yes. Yep, $5 cover charge, unless if you're related to any of the students who are part of it, you get them for free. And obviously, if you're part of the QC Arts, that's also a benefit as well. So $5 just because that helps with the artist, making sure the feature artist gets like paid as well, and like helps with the venue. So
yeah, for sure. And I think $5 for a night of poetry is well worth it. So excellent. So that'll be tomorrow night, starting at 6 p.m. at the Spot in Rock Island, and it is conveniently just right down the street from Quad City Arts. So that's perfect. Absolutely. So excellent. And that is, we also shared that to our Facebook page, so you can see that there as well. And I think Alex just dropped it in the comment section for everybody. So excellent. So Aubrey, Elena, thank you so much. And obviously both of you, great work, but Elena, really impressive work in the program, and just really, really impressed with the work that you've created. So well done.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you both. All right. So again, Aubrey and Elena, thank you so much for all the hard work that you've done, and to the rest of the poetry team as well. And you can see all of them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at the Spot. So now we are moving on to our final one, and that is the film project. The film project was designed to introduce the apprentices to all aspects of the filming process, as well as give them sort of a basic framework to film things on their own. And it culminated with the short film that you will see shortly. So from the film program, we are joined by our lead artist, Jonathan Burnett, and senior apprentice, Cooper Harrison. Excellent.
Hey, Kevin,
Jonathan,
how's it going?
and doing well. Thank you both for joining me on 7 with Kevin this evening. It's wonderful to have both of you. So film is a new one for Quad City Arts, but I know both of you are quite experienced in that. So I will. So Jonathan, I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself, but also a little bit about the approach you took with the film program here for Metro Arts.
Yeah, so Jonathan Burnett, I'm an independent filmmaker, part-time film school professor, and also the Azubuike African American Council for the Arts executive director. And and I'm a Rock Island native. And the approach that I took with this film program was I was just trying to figure out like how to condense it into 5 weeks, because like being a filmmaker, you're always a student to the craft, you're always learning. And how can I get these apprentices off on the right step? So I did kind of what I normally do with my own program, Urban Exposure, and I taught basically directing and producing, screenwriting, cinematography, and editing. And some of the things we did, two of the classes, which were screenwriting and producing and directing, we did those via Zoom. And then cinematography and editing we did in person, because of the fact that in order to learn how to use the equipment or the software, it's really best to be hands-on with it. So the first 2 weeks were a lecture. We had 1 week of just kind of prepping it for everything, finding locations, making sure that we have actors ready, and then we shot, and then we edited, and here we are.
Excellent. Excellent. So Cooper, I'd like to learn a little bit about you and what year in school you are, and how did you learn about the Metro Arts program, and how was your experience in this program as well?
Yeah, I'm I'm going into my third year at the University of Iowa. I'm studying filmmaking and writing and mathematics. So I found out about this program. I got a call from John, and I've taken his class, his urban exposure class. I've taken it twice, and I've kind of helped out a couple more years, and I've worked with him a bunch, and he got a call from him telling me that he needed an apprentice for this, so I jumped on board.
Excellent. And how was this experience for you? Being through the urban exposure program and then doing this project with him.
It was interesting, kind of being on the other side of it more, because doing urban exposure and like being in school now for 2 years, I've been through that intro to filmmaking stuff so many times. And now I'm kind of on the other side of it of helping teach kind of people, and it's like, okay, it's kind of like a new test of how well do you really know it, So yeah, it was interesting being on the other end and just kind of trying to just kind of, because I think after a certain point you kind of get to, you're pretty confident in your skills, but you don't really have to put them to the test that often. And yeah, just having to teach other kids and try to be, is what I'm saying making sense, and like trying to make sure that they're like, that they register of you're getting across with them. Yeah,
well, and also, I mean, the nice thing about, I have to imagine for you, is also the fact that it's helping solidify that knowledge. Being able to explain to somebody else how to do it, it just helps you continue to hone that skill as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. So I'm curious. And this will be a question for both of you. What was the most challenging aspect of this program?
I would say, I think the challenging aspect for this program and anything that I do, or anything that, like, when I work with students, was the writing aspect of it. Since we were only doing one short film, I decided to do kind of like a writer's
Did we lose Jonathan?
I think we may have lost John a little bit.
All right. So Cooper, how about you? What was the most challenging part for you?
Writing was definitely. Yep, you're back. Okay. Writing. Sorry, go ahead, Cooper. That was an interesting kind of challenge of trying to generate the script, but I think overall, the most kind of challenging thing was just the aspect of time, because I think. Just in filmmaking in general, that's, I think, the most important thing, that you got a budget. Like, even if you've got a bunch of money or whatever thrown at you to make whatever, managing your time and budgeting that out is just always so essential. So, I've worked with John on Urban Exposure, which is like a 10-week program, and he's gotten that oiled out really well, and then like condensing that to half that time, where, with Urban Exposure, you're kind of used to having like at least 5 weeks of kind of that in-class time, and then you get to go out in the field. And with this, you're like, okay, 5 weeks, that you could kind of condense it, but then it's like, wait, that's 2 weeks in the classroom, then 1 week of shooting, and your head's just kind of spinning as you're thrown into it, and making that work with the writing as well. It was just, you just kind of felt like you were juggling the entire time, praying to God that you didn't drop it.
Wow. Excellent. So Jonathan, you were saying that you were, Cooper touched about the writing as well. You said that you did something a little bit different with this program, and what was that?
Well, I'd made a writing table. So essentially what we all did was we just sat down, whether it was in Zoom or sometimes in person, and we just said, okay, we're like, first it was, what was our story going to be about? What do we want to talk about? What type of film do we want to do? And then it became, okay, how can we make this character feel, how can we make this give this character depth? How can we flesh out these characters? What type of drama can we put in it? What type of conflict can we put into it? And we were just kind of bouncing around ideas, and I think it was just kind of the melding of those ideas and different perspectives that was somewhat difficult, but like, we pulled it off.
Excellent. Now I think we've got a few images, a few kind of like action shots of the apprentices working with some of the equipment and doing some of the filming, and I'd like to share a couple of those before we go into the film. So if there's anything that you want to share, what are you guys working on in this particular setup, if you recall?
Well, this was our cinematography day, and essentially what I had the students do, or the apprentices do, and under my and Cooper's supervision, was to basically build the camera from the ground up. We would show them how to do it. We kind of ran through everything from the tripod to the camera cage to like even putting on the mic. And then here, this is where when we were shooting, when they had enough experience, and I was able to just kind of let them go. So we have Genesis here manning the camera. We have Ethan on the side holding the bounce, and then we have Sam working with our sound equipment here, and Cooper's just kind of making sure that, giving his keen eye to seeing if things were in focus and seeing like how the lighting looks, and then just kind of guiding them around the process. And then also we have Cooper here doing slate for one of the takes, and we have Tay Lynn, who was one of the apprentice. She was our lead in the film because, she said that she was more into acting. So we let her be the lead, which worked out perfectly.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great. I mean, definitely got to have some experience with that. So that's really cool. And right here, are they going over the footage, or?
Oh, right here, this was our editing day, and we kind of just let them. We actually shot something the day before, and we kind of made like a mini short, basically of me going down a slide on a playground, and basically I was just teaching them the steps of logging footage, labeling footage, the simple cuts, working with like sound, L cuts, J cuts, and then of course like exporting the piece. And then there you see I have my laptop set up with our projector here at our space at the Lincoln Resource Center. And I'm just kind of showing them what type of cuts to use, or, the hotkeys, which are just like really shortcuts on using the software. And yeah, it was you know what, I will say it was kind of good just being back, especially after, 2020. So it felt good getting back in the classroom for sure. Excellent.
Well, very, very cool. But we do have a short film that was written and produced by the group. Cooper, is there anything that we should know before heading into it, or anything you want to share, or we just let's do it?
I don't know. I guess I just say that like this is written by and made by all of our students. Sam, Ethan, Genesis, and Taylin. Yeah, this is all them.
Excellent. Well, Alex is going to get that queued up, and then afterwards we'll have a brief conversation about it.
Are you done already? I only did a mile. I didn't want to get too sweaty before recording. Watch, please. Oh, sorry. Sir, you're in the frame. Hey everyone, it's Taylin. I just want to give you all a quick update on how I've been feeling. I've been feeling great this past week, and the weather has been it's absolutely beautiful. So I decided to take the day off, enjoy the weather, and go on a quick run. And I couldn't have done any of that without a tasty, healthy shake from Celery Shack. They blend all their shakes locally, so be sure to check them out at Celery Shack TC. Okay, I'm done. Baby, I wanted that. Who wants to drink pureed celery?
You didn't even try it.
I don't have to. It looks gross.
You know, I told you I was making Alfredo tonight, right?
Oh, that's okay.
Forget it. Sam, we need to talk.
Oh.
Yeah. Hello, can you look at me?
My views weren't as high on that one.
Seriously?
Oh, on your way, could you stop by Celery Shack and grab another shake? I really need to lock in that sponsorship. Jeez. See you later.
Hey, where are you? I'm at our normal bench. Just give me a call back when you can. What am I supposed to do now?
You're back. Yeah, I got him this morning. You're up early.
Yeah, I was gonna try to get a run in early before it heats up later.
Oh. This isn't sunrise photo shoot or anything?
No, I'm just trying to get back into it. Start taking it seriously. I think I was slipping a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Mind if I join you? Come get me. I'm gonna start unpacking.
Okay.
Just to warn you, I haven't ran all week.
Oh, so I might have a chance?
Nah, don't get ahead of yourself. Well, are you ready? Are you? Ready, set, go!
Excellent. Well done, both of you and the entire group. This was my first time seeing it. I didn't actually watch before this, so I have a couple questions. I'm very curious about the writers' table experience. In coming up with that, and I'm curious, was there a starting point, or what created, like, where did the concept kind of begin and culminate?
Well, the concept began with essentially when I asked them, like, kind of what did they want to talk about, like, what type of film did they want to do. We started with something that was called a premise, which is basically a kind of the whole film in like 2 sentences. So we started coming up with premises, and then I can remember early on the premise was about 2 friends and how one friend was self-absorbed and actually missed a friend's graduation party. But then we were like, okay, so how are we gonna have the graduation party? And then it turned into something like, oh, what if she woke up and everyone was gone and she was looking for everybody? And then so we were like, okay, we got to scale it down just a little bit, because Quad Cities is going to be crowded, and it's like it's going to be hard to find empty streets. And then it just came to, okay, well, let's talk about influencers, because I guess they really had something against influencers in this class. But seriously, they just we just kind of were bouncing ideas around, and then we came to this. And how we proceeded from there was, we wrote, I want to say, about 6 to 7 pages, and I had each student do their own scene. So we would start it off with one student, and then we pass it along to the next student, and then they would continue the next scene or page, and then the next student would continue the scene or page, and then the next student would continue the scene or page, and then Cooper would kind of look over, and he would give his notes, I would give mine. I would ask more logistical questions. I gave Cooper the responsibility of looking at more story questions and character questions. And, and then that's how we came up with the script.
Excellent. And then from that, did the apprentices, did they help choose the filming locations, or was that sort of dictated in that writing process?
So we kind of all decided to shoot at Vanderveer Park. And, we were listing off different parks, and then I forgot who suggested Vanderveer Park. And then as far as the kitchen scene, we were actually like struggling looking for a kitchen. And then one of our students, Ethan Kirkpatrick, said, hey, you can shoot in my kitchen. And then we were like, okay, let's shoot in your kitchen. So that was Ethan's kitchen, and we like to thank his parents for letting us shoot in that kitchen as well. So thank you Kirkpatrick. So yeah, and then so we all just kind of my role in this was just kind of guiding them, putting the things together, giving my opinion as an educator and as a professional, and then And then also just like, if I had to like bring them back down to earth or speed them up, that was kind of my role in this. But they worked very well, and they took to the pace of filming, and then also the equipment like very well.
Excellent. And then my final question about the film is the music aspect. So Cooper, is that something that you took care of in the editing process, or is that a conversation that was that the apprentices were involved with as well?
It was mostly in the editing process, but kind of, before the editing even started, there was kind of that conversation of, like, do we want music? Yes or no? And typically, the answer is yes. And then, I just we decided which scenes would kind of work well in, and kind of where. And that was also kind of just the decision in post too, because, we're, while editing, because I edited the project, so we do just an assembly cut and like slap all the footage together, like right after we got done finished filming, and just sent that out to them so they could see it. And, they give me notes on that. And then I refine it a little bit, send it out to them. They give me notes and say, okay, what if we did that there? What if we did that there? And, we just have a conversation about it. And, they could kind of feel like there were a couple points where it was a little bit just like not quite what it needed to be, or just like something was missing. It was like, that's where the music was done. So, then finding the music, you kind of got to scour all the different libraries online that you can. And YouTube has a really great audio library for creators of just royalty-free music. But even still with that, you just, you spend so long just trying to find the right thing. So.
Excellent. I love that. I do love that. I mean, really getting to hear about that editing process, really as a very collaborative process, having them involved in every step of the way. So thank you both for that. I have my final question for you guys is kind of the off the wall one. So if you could choose one song to play when you walked into any room, what song would that be?
Coop, I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
I just saw the documentary on the Sparks Brothers, and I've been listening to their music all week. I saw it 3 times in theaters, and they've got this just weird, bizarre song called "A Chew" about a songwriter who's scared of catching a cold, and it's like if a Queen song just went off the rails, and it's the weirdest thing ever. That's the only thing coming to mind right now.
Excellent. I'm gonna have to look that song up. So
let's see. So the song that I just thought about, and it's actually a song that I used when I was doing like filmmaking back at Rocky, like, when in the early days, I used the song in one of my shorts. That was "A Lovely Day" by Bill Withers. And the reason I like that song a lot is because of how long he holds the notes. And then when I was like, it was like 17, 18, I would try to always hold that note just as long as Bill Withers. But I think that would be like a perfect song for me whenever I walk into any room. It's just "Lovely Day." I don't know why. It just feels good,
Yeah.
It's like 16 bars long.
Excellent. I love it. Perfect. Well, Jonathan, Cooper, I really do appreciate all the hard work that you did with the apprentices and in the program. I mean, just obviously walking them through that entire process and introducing that. And it's been a pleasure hearing just how collaborative that process was. So thank you both for that hard work and for the film that you help them create. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and it's good to be back on 7 with Kevin. So I missed it from our last interview. So thanks for having me back.
Excellent. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Cooper. Thank you both for joining us tonight. All right. Well, again, a big thank you to Jonathan and Cooper. And also, I do want to give a special thank you to Azubuike, African American Council for the Arts, for using that space in the Lincoln Resource Center. And it is a fantastic space. So when they have some events in the future, I would encourage people to check it out. It's a really, really incredible space. So again, I do want to thank our sponsors that allow this program to happen and helped, be able to fund these programs. So a big thank you to TBK Bank, Modern Woodmen of America, Moline Center, Renew Moline, Visit Quad Cities, Davenport Noon Optimist, City of Rock Island, Iowa Arts Council, and the Illinois Arts Council Agency for supporting the Metro Arts program. So we have a lot of great things coming up at Quad City Arts. As you can see behind me, we have brand new art on the walls here at our downtown Rock Island Gallery. We also have new work at the Quad Cities International Airport. I would encourage you to come down, see it live and in person. It is also available on our website as well. So if you can't make it down or are just too excited to wait, you can pop on our website to see that. Also, check out our social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. We have some great things on there and some great things coming up. So for instance, did you create any art in the past year and a half? Would you like to showcase that art? Our quarantine art exhibit is still open for about the next month. So if you've got a piece that you would love to display, now's the time to get that in before the jurying process starts. We have lots of in-person music events, or lots of in-person events coming, like musician Justin Roberts will be joining us next week. We're working with Alternating Currents in August to present Squonk. Visiting Artist Series will kick off in earnest in the fall. River Sons in September, Festival of Trees in November. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is we have lots of fun stuff coming your way. We're very excited. We've been hard at work on that. So you can try to remember all that, or check us out on Facebook, on our Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Visit our website to learn more. Also, I will say one final note. We get a question all the time, and that is, how can I support Quad City Arts? Obviously, the easiest answer is to get on our website and donate. Or an even easier solution is come to our free events. Interact with us on social media. Tell your friends about us. The more people that know about Quad City Arts, the more that we can do. So really just help us spread the word. So again, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for watching and supporting all that we do. So again, check out our website, our social media, and stay in touch. Thank you all.